Hello everyone, I have a mixed media scrapbook process to share with you today. This is with the Kaisercraft Hanami garden collection. This is quite an older collection, so it might be hard to find bits from it. All I have is the collection pack, you know, with the papers and the cardstock stickers, and I've got the ephemera pack, and I have a couple of stamps from it as well, which you'll see shortly. So with this collection, I've had it for a little while, and as beautiful as it is, like I genuinely really love it, but generally speaking, I can be quite a literal scrapbooker, and I was just like, what on earth am I going to scrapbook with this sort of Japanese themed, what am I going to do? But the meaning, as I understand it, I'm probably going to get this wrong, of Hanami is, in Japan, it's like the festival, that might not be the right word, but where they sort of celebrate and they have parties, and it's this whole big thing when the cherry trees blossom in Japan, and I think they do it for the plum trees as well, but there's a different word for it. But yeah, that's kind of the meaning of Hanami, and I knew I had this picture that I'd taken in my garden last year, I'm going to say, of one of our apple trees. We have 3 little apple trees in our garden when it was blossoming, and just took this really close-up pretty picture of it blossoming, and I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna scrapbook that. Now obviously it's, you know, technically, if you're going to be really pernickety about it, it's an apple tree and the Hanami is the cherry tree, but anyways, close enough, I would say. We don't have a cherry tree. So yes, I'm doing my usual here of putting a layer of clear gesso on my page and then backing my page with a 12 by 12 like random piece of cardstock that I just know, well, not cardstock, but pattern card that I know I'm not really going to use for anything else, just so it's really nice and sturdy, and for all the mixed media that I know is going to end up on here. So here I'm using those stamps I mentioned, which I picked up recently from Craftelia. I will of course link them if I can find them, if they're still available. One is like the Japanese scripty font kind of thing, and the other is a blossom stamp, and I am just kind of going in with it along in a sort of a cross shape, but the cross sort of leaning to the right kind of thing. Now I will admit, and I might be showing horrific ignorance here, but there is a possibility that once or twice I might have put the script font upside down. I don't know for sure, but if I have, and there's any Japanese people or Japanese speaking people watching, I can only apologise. But to be honest, even with like a scripty font stamp that's even in English, sometimes just looking at the stamp you're like, oh, that might be upside down, I'm not sure. So when it's a language and a script that you're completely unfamiliar with and don't really know anything about, to be honest, it's, you know, anyway, I tried my best, but I might have messed up, and I am just acknowledging this fact. Anyways, I stamped those two with Stays on black ink, and now I'm going in back with the script stamp and embossing it in gold. I just thought gold on this collection just really works nicely, so, and I actually was really chuffed with how that turned out, and it embossed beautifully. I was worried that because it's such like a fiddly little stamp in places that it would just smush, but it doesn't. So yeah, that went quite well. I'm quite happy about that. I was originally going to do it on the down part on the right, but then I thought actually I'll have a little bit of it on the bit that sort of sticks out towards the left of the cross, just to have, you know, extra bits. And when you know you're going to put loads of mixed media on top of things, you kind of do extra in the knowledge that you want a little bit of it to stick out somewhere, but you don't know exactly where you're going to put the mixed media stuff down, and blah 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 blah. Now with all of that gesso and the card on the back and all of this heat embossing, my page warped so badly. You can see me there trying to sort of warp it back into shape. Sometimes you can do that by sort of using the heat tool the opposite way that you've used it, that it's embossed, warped, but really at the end of the day the best way is just to stick it in an album and it will flatten itself. So that does mean my pictures, it still looks a bit warped, but it will eventually flatten itself out. Now here what I am doing is I've got just like a little business card or something, and I've got red acrylic paint. No, it's nothing special, just cheap red acrylic paint, and I'm just kind of dabbing on these lines of red. I really wanted to do this, quite honestly, because in the scrapbooking world, I feel that we don't have much opportunity to use red. You know, at Christmas, yes, but generally speaking, not a lot of red opportunities. So I just wanted to add that, and obviously red and black and gold is just all the right colours for this collection, you know. Here what I am doing, this is going to make the sort of the foundation of my layout kind of thing, is I'm taking strips from other papers from the collection, using this wooden dowel, and then just rolling them around to make these little tubes. kind of thing. I've got 2 papers I've chosen to do this with, and obviously they're double-sided, so I've flipped them over to get different shapes and stuff. I'm making long ones, making short ones, so I just kind of roll it up on that dowel at an angle and then stick red back tape, or red line tape, sorry, just so, because you know that's extra sticky and you want those to stay in place. And I just put it on there like that, and then I finish the rolling, slip it off, and then snip, my little tube, whatever you want to call it, is ready. So I got them roughly where I wanted them to be, took a picture, as I always do, because I will always forget where they're supposed to go, and then sort of trimming the ones that needed trimming, and then I'm just going to stick those down. I have put more red line tape on the back of each of these just to make sure that they are going to stay rolled up, because it would be disastrous if they started to pop open. And then also sticking them down with 3D gloss gel. And I kind of like this effect that kind of looks like scrolls or something, I suppose. It's more like old world, maybe medieval Japan rather than modern, I suppose. But yeah, just like the scrolls, it reminds me of watching movies and stuff from that area of the world. And anyways, I have tried to pay attention to what colours are going to match with what. So where it goes under the picture, a black scroll is going to meet up with a black scroll, and it looks like there's just one long one underneath there. So yes, at the moment it doesn't look like much, but once they're all down and the other things are down, it's going to make a lot more sense, I think. And then I am putting some just directly under where the picture's going to go, because it's going to help the picture stay on top of things rather than having to put a load of foam down and make sure everything's level, which would have been a lot of effort. So next, what am I doing? I'm taking some more 3D gloss gel and making blobs of it around the little scrolls, and then just pouring on these are from Imagination Crafts. They are called Artsy stones. I've got them in, hang on, I've made a list of all the things I've used, the small and medium sizes. There's the small ones just there, and I'm just sprinkling those on in random places. It's one of those things where you are going to make a mess. Just accept it. They're going to go everywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. You can do it where you could mix them into the gel and then paste them on, but I don't know. Why didn't I do that? That's a very good question. I'm sure I had a very good reason. I just don't remember what it is. So with those, they weren't completely dry here, which was a bit of an error on my part. I've just mixed that same red acrylic paint with some sort of pearl effect paint. That is the Deco Art Metallics White Pearl. And that kind of, instead of mixing it with white, which obviously makes it a more pastel colour, it just sort of just tones it down a bit rather than making it pink kind of thing. I mean, it is pinkish. I did the same with this brown paint, but it wasn't working quite well. So instead I've taken some dilutions in melted chocolate, and I'm just spraying that on, and I'm spraying that really, really closely. Like I'm millimeters away from where I'm spraying, so it's really controlled. I know exactly where the ink is going and where I want it to be. And that works a lot better. And I know at the moment it looks weird with all the brown, but again, just trust me, just wait and see. Here I'm taking a very fine little brush and painting on some gold acrylic paint. This is the, again, getting my list, Deco Art Metallics Gold. It is a really, really good gold paint. I highly recommend it, and it's not that expensive either. It's only like £2-3 kind of thing. Anyways, moving on. While I waited for all of that to dry, I decided to back my photo. I've got, I think I've left a little bit of the white layer around the photo on where it was printed kind of thing. Then a thick black layer, and then I'm going to use the same papers that I used to make my little scrolly tube things and back my photo on there. So I've got the red one, and then I'm going to use the one with all the lovely Japanese script on as well, just to, yes, and I think I'm going to distress the outside 2 layers of that, and then on the very outside layer I'm going to add some distressed oxide and ice spruce. I'm not adding it all the way around the edge, and in some areas I've got it much heavier than others, so you know, like at the top left there's quite a big splodge of the colour, and then not in other places, kind of just to make it a little bit more weathered and antique kind of thing, you know, to make the distressed effect more, what's the word, random, is that the word? I don't know, you know what I'm getting at here. Anyway, this doily was just hanging around on my desk, and I just suddenly thought, I think that's going to look quite good on that picture, and I think it helps bring out the picture even more from the really busy background of all the scrolls and things. And now I am just going through that ephemera pack and choosing some bits and pieces to use. I decided on beautiful for my title because nice and simple, and the colour of that word beautiful ephemera piece pops out quite nicely, but doesn't take too much attention away from the photo because it's a different colour from the photo kind of thing. Now I did lose some footage here, but it was basically me putting down all those little flowers. Those are those cheap ones I buy from the range. I've mentioned them 1,000 times before, but yes, I've just put down a mix of, they're not actually white, they're a very, very light pink, but you get the idea. The grey ones and the red ones. So yes, and they just all went down with 3D gloss gel. I've put down my ephemera pieces. Here I'm going to add splatters in Dilution Slate Grey and in Heidi Swap Colour Shining Gold, obviously, because gold on this layout with the red and the black and the brown, obviously. And then my title is that little card there from the ephemera piece. I kind of backed it and then used a random strip behind it. It says time is measured by minutes, but life is measured by moments. I just thought, well, it's kind of a subtitle because the title is beautiful, but anyways. Splatters going down. Oh, I distressed around the edge of that little subtitle as well. Lots of gold splatters. I wanted quite big, chunky splatters kind of thing. And yeah, I think that is the last. No, it is not the last thing I do. I have suddenly remembered. Some of the little flowers I've used, you see some of them have a little gold bead in the middle, but some of them don't. And I didn't really like the way the ones without one look. So I've just used some Nouveau drops. These are glitter drops in honey gold. And I've just given those a little thing in the middle as well, because I just think it looks nicer when they've all got something in the middle kind of thing. Just dabbing some of my colour shine there because I didn't want to get, you know, you get that horrible halo thing that happens around it when it dries, and it's more splodgy now. And there we go, I am finished. So this is a different one for me, very much not my usual colour thing, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite proud of this one. I really enjoyed making it, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching too. Please leave me a thumbs up if you did. I will link all the things that I possibly can in the description box below. Chat to me in the comments, love talking to you guys, and I think that's about it. So yes, thank you so much again. Oh, and let me know if you have any questions about what I did, or if I didn't say the name of something, which is very likely. Okay, I really am going now. Thank you so much again. Bye bye.